Michelle Renee, aka Giggles. Thank you again so much for 9,000 subscribers. Tanner here is gonna read me your guys' questions.
Alright, here's Giggles 9K Q&A. Cakeface Horror asks, don't know if you'll answer this, but what is your favorite lesser-known fandom?
Lesser-known fandom? I love this cartoon called Ever After High, and there is a fandom, and they make OCs. I don't really get involved, I just really like all the designs.
Alan Stapp asks, top 5 movies, shows, and books.
Okay, movies? Oh no, you're gonna judge me. Clue, and then...
You seem so judgmental.
No, because you're the movie guy. I love Ever After, Barbie, Princess and the Pauper.
Okay, you're right, I am judging you.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I really like Tangled. Shows, oh my gosh. I like The Batman, and I like the Powerpuff Girls. Why am I blanking today? You're making me nervous for no reason.
You want to start over?
No. My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Miraculous Ladybug. The first 5 episodes of Once Upon a Time. Oh, books!
You got books now.
Books! I got books. That's easy because they're all right there. I like The Third Twin and this one called Nightlight, which is a parody of Twilight by Harvard Lampoon. And then I also like Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. I love Screwtape Letters and Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and its sequel Through the Looking Glass and What Alice Found There.
Alright, next question is from Spawn19999 asks, is there more Tales of the Diner?
By the point this video will be released, there's only one more. I'm so sorry, the author stopped writing that series. So there's one more, and it's a long one, so you'll be satisfied, but I think that's it after that one.
Alright, and then this is a 5-part question next. It's from Miko5.
Oh, love it.
Asks, number 1, what has been the most difficult story to get through, whether just something that's a rough read or a story that made you crack up?
Oh, this is a good story to tell you. Okay. So everybody knows that Mr. Creepypasta is like my big brother, and I narrate a whole series on his channel and everything. So, one time there was a story I found on No Sleep called I'm a Nice Girl, and I was like, interesting title. And I read it, and it was like a lot of like body horror, I think it's like about a girl that gets impregnated by an alien and she gives birth to it or something, and I was like, this is a bomb story, but it's like way too gross for my channel. So I was like, hey Spike, do you like the story? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, can I narrate it for you? And he was like, yeah. And then as soon as I started actually acting out the character, I was like, this was a mistake, this is real gross, this is really nasty. But I did it, and it's still on his channel.
And number 2 from them was, how many takes do you do per reading, and have you ever done a story in just one take?
Wow. So I don't do one take through the whole story. I just power through the whole story. So if I mess up, I just go back a sentence or two and then just carry on. So I wouldn't really call those takes because I feel like that implies the whole thing. As for doing a story in one single, no mess ups, just one take, yes, I have, but that was back maybe half a decade ago when I was doing the really, really short stories that were 2 paragraphs or something.
Third question from Miko5. Yeah. How do you get the feel of a character you're narrating from a story? Knowing when to hit the right, or knowing when to hit certain emotions?
Oh, that's a really good question. Sometimes, what I was saying with the previous question, that kind of demands a retake, I guess, going back a few sentences. I usually get the feel of the character really early on, just based off of the premise, the very first couple of sentences, and then I just commit to the character based off of the little information that they gave me. But if I've read the story before, then I have, probably a stronger, more solid take on it. It's an instinct, really, I think.
If you had the power to invite any character you've ever voiced or portrayed as, who would you choose and why?
Oh, Oh my gosh, that is a great question. I would love to invite the Lady of the Lake over for dinner, just to pick her brain on being an underwater sorceress.
This fifth question is great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's why shouldn't you put a 4-leaf clover in a stone wall?
Why? It's a joke.
Because it's not a real stone, just a shamrock! A sham!
A sham.
It's a shamrock!
It's a shamrock. That's a good one. I was like, wait, is this a real question?
It's the most real question.
It's the realist.
Alright, the next question is from Sir Coffeeheart asks, congratulations! If you can have one of the totems, what one would you choose?
Okay, I'm assuming that you're... Thank you, first and foremost. I'm assuming you're talking about the Lily stories. I would pick Raziel, because if you have him, then you can, like, read other people's minds or something. What was it? You know their secrets or something? And I think that that would be something hilarious to have, just because imagine all the people that you walk past on a day-to-day basis, and someone is just like, oh gosh, I have to fart. I don't want the fire guy, and I don't want lilies, and I definitely don't want Samuel, so Raziel's the safest one.
Boba TVA asks, do you ever write fan fiction? If so, what did you write about?
I did. It wasn't like bad fan fiction. Like I've never been into writing like smut or inappropriate things. So the fan fiction that I did write though, that was when I was in middle school, and it was about Sonic the Hedgehog. Because I shipped him and Shadow and Silver and sometimes Scourge with like all my Sonic fan characters, so those fan fictions were just about their love stories, which is so cringy.
Alexejo asks,
Oh! Yeah.
You have to date one kind of monster dude. What kind of monster dude would you date?
This is such a gross question. Do you know what monster boys are?
Me? I don't know.
I think if I had to date one, I guess I don't like that I'm gonna say this. I guess a vampire, because they're the most normal. I don't want to date a Naga or like a Drider. Driders are like monster boys, monster girls.
You don't want a big fluffy werewolf?
No, I don't want a werewolf, because that's just bestiality at that point. But at least vampires are the most human-looking ones. I think they're considered monster boys. So yeah, that's my lock-in answer. I'm scared of snakes, so can't do Nagas. They're great villains though. Driders, that would be freaky. So sure, vampires, because they're the most normal-looking.
The next question is from Laziness, and they ask, has there ever been a creepypasta you wanted to do, but stopped recording for midway through because it is being too creepy to record for?
Yes, actually. That's happened a couple of times. It's usually the ones where in the beginning they seem like it's about like a psycho killer or like some kind of like, you know, human tangible thing. But then like for some reason it's like about like demons or like something like that, and like sometimes the wording of certain stories like that are just a little too much for me, and I'm like, oh nope, I can't do this, I'm way too spooked.
And then Juan asks, what prevents you from releasing stories more frequently?
Ooh, well, so I had a hiatus when, you know, my father was in the hospital and everything, and then when I came back, I was like, if I'm really gonna come back, I need to have a schedule, and I don't want to overcommit. So right now, I'm gonna do 2 creepypastas a week. Maybe on occasion, I'll have 3 per week, or, you know, an extra video is the 3rd video. So that's mainly the reason why, is I just don't want to overwork it.
This next question is a 3-parter from Darby Burnett, which I think is a wonderful name. Number 1,
Darby.
what led you to voice acting / narration?
For voice acting, I've always been super interested in voice acting. I started out like just doing stuff on the internet when I was 14 years old, and I went on this website which no longer exists called voiceactingalliance.com. So that's where I really started voice acting. And then with narration, it comes along with like when I got into like the creepypasta community on YouTube. So that was around when I was 16 years old, and I had like just met Spike and Creeps and like a bunch of people, So yeah, it was all like within those 2 years.
That led perfectly into their second question.
Aha!
How did you become acquainted with Mr. Creepypasta?
Oh my gosh, okay. Somebody always asks this question during a Q&A. I don't think I've told you this story yet. How did I get acquainted with him? This is a hilarious story. This should be its own video. Back in the day, I was 16 and I fell in love with Creepypasta narration on YouTube. So at the time, like, my channel name wasn't LittleBallOfGiggles, it was something else, Morals and Virtues. But I still had everybody call me Giggles. So Spike at the time had seen my videos and he was like, oh my gosh, you have such an adorable voice, you should try narration. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. And then we also met on Skype. So he knows Morals and Virtues from YouTube, but he knew Giggles on Skype. And we were friends for like about 4 to 6 months when he was like, Giggles, what's your YouTube channel? And I was like, are you kidding? And he was like, no, what's your YouTube channel? And I was like, we started talking on YouTube. And he was like, we did? And I said, yeah, it's Morals and Virtues. And he was like, oh my gosh, you guys are the same person.
And the third question from Darby is, I imagine it is difficult to get into characters sometimes. How do you come up with the way that you portray someone in a story?
This is pretty much answered earlier. I get early on a feel from what's given to me within the first like paragraph or few sentences.
And then this next is a series of questions, about 7 of them here.
Okay.
And that is from Jerry the Cartoonist. And the first question is, La La Land, seen it? If so, what are your thoughts on it? I'll take over here. It's great. You should see it. It's a little long at times, very sad in the end, but also with hopeful undertones. It's great. It's a good movie.
Yeah. I make a prediction with that because I haven't seen it, but it's about jazz, so I feel like they're not gonna end up together.
A while ago, you created a series of videos about a princess that was locked away by an evil wizard and saved by a knight.
Oh!
How does that story end, and how do you plan to continue that series?
So that story, that's part of a story, like there's a bigger thing going on, but I was like, I wonder if this would be well received by an audience. So I wanted to put like a sort of beta or test drive of that aspect of the story. And I think it was well received, so I'm kind of trying to work around like script writing that and 2 other stories right now. It's definitely like there's a bigger picture than the beta that I gave you guys. So I'm glad that you guys are into it, and you'll just have to hold off on that one.
Do you do art commissions? And if so, how much do you charge?
I do art commissions. I'm an artist, and in terms of charging, I don't know, it depends on what you want. I'm gonna generalize my art commissions. Depending on what you want, the minimum would just be like $30. I'm cheap.
Question number 4 from Jerry is, have you ever considered making Let's Play content? I think it would be pretty cool to see you and a few of the other narrators playing a scary game on this channel.
Oh, okay. See, Let's Playing, I don't think is for me. I'm already, like, he knows. I'm like a backseat gamer. I would rather watch a Let's Play rather than have people watch me play the game. But if it was one of those things where I got me and other narrators to play a game like what is it called? Phasmophobia, I would do that. That sounds really funny. We actually did used to do that with Don't Starve and a couple of other games on this old channel called Night Shift Streamers. It has like no subscribers because we were just screwing around on Sims.
Starting over. Question number 5. Have you ever played any of the Little Nightmares games? If not, I highly recommend it. It's the perfect blend of whimsy and horror.
So I haven't, like I just said, I haven't played them, but I have seen all the Let's Plays for like all the DLCs. I love Little Nightmares. I love Little Nightmares so much. I get so into the lore and the story, and I like have my own theories. I watch a bunch of theory videos on it. I love Little Nightmares. It's so good. If you don't know what it is, you have to go watch the Let's Plays or play the game yourself, because you're not like me.
Question number 6.
Yeah.
How does the Shure microphone work? Like, how do you get it to pick up your voice?
Oh, my drawer just broke. My drawer just broke again. This is my microphone. I don't think I've ever actually shown my equipment on screen. So this is the Shure SM27. It's a great microphone. I got it because it's a condenser mic and it could pick up my speaking voice and also handle my like belting or operatic when I'm singing. It's not so much the microphone that needs working, But the interface, which I'll get on in a second, is the thing that gets me to kind of gauge where I want it to pick up. So with voice acting etiquette, the way that it goes is that, like, this is the interface. The way that it goes with microphones is if you're gonna shout, you want to be about this far away, this being the microphone, or even more, and you want to turn the gain down. The gain is like right here. You want to turn that down a little bit. But if you're gonna be like quieter or whispering or something, you want to be about this distance, and you want to put the gain up more. So it depends more on your interface than the microphone itself, in my experience. I hope that helps.
Will you do a creepypasta narration as fast food mascots? I just gotta know.
Oh, I know what you're asking. Yes. I started this thing from a previous Q&A where someone was like, if you could cast all your creepypasta friends as Greek gods and then high school subject teachers, what would everyone be? I definitely have to add that to the list.
And the final question here is from Aaron McCreeps. And they ask, how'd you get so damn pretty, Giggles? And then they got a little colon smiley face.
Oh, I don't know. Do you want to answer that?
It's the makeup.
Wow. No, it's all God. God did. He did this. That's all. Thank you guys so much for all your questions. Thank you so much, Tanner, for reading all
Congratulations
of the
to you and your followers.
Thank you.
Thank you,
See you guys in the next video. Bye.